All right, we're gonna call the April 17th meeting to order. Roll call.
Mr. Murray? Here. Mr. Miller? Here. Mr. Smith? Here. Mr. Vaculet? Here. Mrs. Keever?
Here, at this time to do the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic against one nation under God. All right, at this time, is there any board member who desire to add, delete, or separate any items of the consent agenda as proposed? No? All right, I need a motion to approve the meeting agenda as presented for the regular board meeting on April 17th, 2023.
So moved. Or.
Roll call.
Mr. Murray? Yes. Mr. Miller? Yes. Mr. Smith? Yes. Mr. Vaculet? Yes. Mrs. Keever?
Yes, motion carries. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting held on March 20th of 2023 and the special board meeting held on March 28th of 2023.
So moved. Support.
Roll call.
Mr. Murray? Yes. Mr. Miller? Yes. Mr. Smith? Yes. Mr. Vaculet? Yeah. Mrs. Keever?
Yes, motion carries. Are there any board members with correspondence? I would just like to point out to those students that are in attendance, the play was awesome. Good job, and it was long for me. I'm sure it was quite as long for you, but very good job.
Thank you.
Mr. Carroll. Okay. Nolan?
I have a notice of resignation from Evan Karshner and also notice of resignation from Katie Grant.
Thank you. Would you continue recognizing our guests and visitors?
There's a number of people with us tonight. Thank you for being here. Could you please just introduce yourself?
I'm Lindsay Scalloway.
Who's Berkeley? You want me to? Remy Taylor.
Sammy Miller.
Brooklyn Poncho.
I'm Cameron Merrill.
Dylan Hendricks. Brady Rooper.
Anna Wilson.
Jason Bethler.
Dr. Dolores Weinberg. Carol Fisher. Oak Rose.
Andrew Gabler. Grace Mann. Jerry Stern. Tom Wolf.
Mindy Valentine. Jenny Conrad.
Tony Noble.
Sherry Brown. Jessica Root.
Bruce Campbell.
Thank you, everyone. Seeing that we don't have anybody address the board, we will continue on to Mr. Carroll's report.
Right, thank you. A number of reports to approve this evening. First one is our cash reconciliation showing that we are reconciled and balanced with the banks. Our financial summary, how we are appropriated currently. We have our cash summary and our disbursement summary, the checks that we have written during the month of March. First graph you see is the general fund graph compared to our forecast. Currently at the end of March, we're 75% of the way through fiscal year 23. And cash balance is trending nicely as compared to last year. And on the flip side of that page is the detail of the payroll and benefits, again, compared to where we are with the forecast. So far for payroll, we've spent 76% of what we forecasted and 75% for benefits for what we forecasted. On the agenda, you'll see a couple of budgetary items, just increasing appropriations. As money has come in, we need to increase those. And then also we did receive last year, we approved the school bus grant for $135,000, but that was last fiscal year. We did get our 3 new buses, so we need to reapprove the grant for this year. We did receive that, so we have applied that money towards the purchase of our buses.
Any questions for Mr. Carroll?
Brian, I mean, it looks like our payroll and expenses are generally kind of right on track, but we're trending upward with a little bit of a higher cash balance this year. Obviously, it's a good problem to have, but do we have any ideas as to why?
We've received quite a few grants this year, which save the general fund money, and we can charge grants to purchases, which helps out quite a bit.
Okay, so that's a direct, I mean, we're seeing the impact of the grants.
Yeah, that's a part of it.
Yes, good, thank you.
The only other thing that I have is next month at the board meeting in May, I will have the update for the forecast, and that'll be on. And then currently we're working through budgets for fiscal year 24. So we've got to meet with, each department building budgets for next year. So that's what we're working on right now.
All right, thank you, Mr. Carroll. Okay, so we'll begin with the financial, section of the agenda. At this time, it is recommended by Mr. Carroll to approve the following financial items that he just went over, to approve the March 2023 financial reports, the cash reconciliation, financial summary, cash summary, disbursement summary report, to accept the following donations: $100 anonymous donation to the Student Assistance Fund, $2,000 from the Evergreen After Prom 2023 to the junior class of 2024, as well approve the following appropriations and modifications and to amend the resources accordingly. An increase the class of 2026 of 600, increase the food service of 150,000, increase the bond of 742.08, a transfer of $1,282 from athletics to the high school principal fund. And we also need to approve the following grant and modify appropriations and estimated resources accordingly for the school bus purchase grant of $135,000. This time I just need a motion to approve the financial reports and other financial items.
So move.
Support.
Questions or discussion?
150,000 for food service, we that far behind.
This would just be the original appropriation that we had.
Okay,
So we're just increasing as more money comes in, we need to be able to spend more money, so.
okay. How far behind are we, do you know?
I can get a updated report for you for next month.
Okay.
We did get another COVID, payment towards food service, which really helped out.
We should not anticipate any of those in the future.
I think this, we got the second one that we were going to get.
Okay,
So that would be the final one, yes.
thank you.
All right, thank you. Roll call?
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Maculus.
Yes.
Mrs. Keeper.
Yes, motion carries. We'll move on to personnel. We need to, non-renewal of supplemental and people contracts. So non-renewal all supplemental and people contracts such as coaches, club monitors, et cetera, for the 22-23 school year, effective at the conclusion of the current school year. We also need to accept the resignation of Ellen Partner, just a substitute. Mr. Partner's resignation will become effective on May 26, 2023. We need to accept the resignation of Katie Brennan, elementary teacher. Ms. Brennan's resignation will become effective also on May 26, 2023. We need to approve Mr. Bergman's summer school coordinator for a maximum of 100 hours to coordinate summer school instruction on an hourly basis for the negotiated agreement. We also need to approve Joe Blystone as a school custodial worker as needed from May 1st of 2023 through September 30th of 2023. Compensation set at $13 per hour at a maximum of 40 hours per week. The superintendent or the superintendent designee will coordinate hours and make all work assignments. We need to offer the following counselor a 1-year limited teaching contract effective with the start of the 23-24 school year, an extended additional 10 days at per diem rate with 5 transition days during the 22-23 school year. Lindsay Scourin for the middle school guidance counselor. And we also need to add the following individual to the approved district substitute list, pending the completion of all and any certification requirements and background checks. Lucas Geink. At this time, we just need a motion to approve the following list of personnel positions.
So move. Or.
Questions or discussion? All right, roll call.
Mr. Murray.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Maculus.
Yes.
Mrs. Keeper.
Yes, motion carries. All right, so we'll move on to other business. We need to approve the agreement with Jillian Group for Medicaid school program reporting at a cost of $1,700 for the 23-24 school year and $1,700 for 24-25 school year.
So moved. Support.
Questions or discussion? All right, roll call.
Mr. Murray.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Maculus.
Yes.
Mrs. Keeper.
Yes, motion carries. We need to authorize the superintendent and treasurer to accept the best bid from Johnson Control Security Solutions LLC to purchase and install Halo 2C IoT sensors in middle school and high school restrooms and locker rooms at a cost of $68,370.31. The expense was paid from the Ohio K-12 school safety grant.
Support.
Questions or discussion?
That's maybe 10 years.
All right, roll call.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Macula? Mrs. Keeper?
Yes, motion carries. At this time, Mr. Smollow, would you like to take over on discussion and information?
Just a couple of informational items of personnel changes at the elementary. Miriam Hernandez, who is currently teaching fourth grade, will be moving to the fifth grade for the next school year. And Kelsey Ford, who is currently teaching the fifth grade, will be moving to the fourth grade.
All right, any questions for those? All right, Mr. Roofer, you're up.
Hi, good evening. I just want to reiterate what Mrs. Kiefer said. The musical was wonderful. Nice job. And as well, the district art show, a lot of talented artwork on display there. Want to recognize Adam Smith. I talked earlier, he had won the local regional American Legion oratorical contest. He actually went down to state and placed second, and he earned $1,500 in scholarships. Our quiz team, they were on quite the roll. They won on Friday, March 31st. They had a tournament through the Northern Buckeye League. JV placed second. The varsity was the champions. And then last Friday, the 4-county tournament of champions, we placed first in that as well. We're going next week, I believe, to film semifinals for Channel 24. And then we're going to nationals in Chicago next Friday. So congratulations to the quiz team. Also want to highlight Lily Hurd. She took part in the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Her and her group raised $2,700 for the cure. And I also just want to take a minute. I know we have kids out at 4-County Career Center. I was out there visiting them. I just wanted to highlight the many great programs. I was impressed by some of the technology that they're doing. It's just neat to see that. So I think that was important to highlight some of the great work that the kids are doing out there. Upcoming events in the high school, we have spring FFA banquets. FFA is off the state convention. We have prom. We're having a digital empowerment assembly for both students and parents on May 9th. And getting into May, we have the senior breakfast and the award ceremony on May 17th. And then of course, graduation May 21st at 2 o'clock. Just administratively wrapping up all teacher evaluations, scheduling for next year's underway, testing's underway, just kind of get ready for next year. So that is it, unless there's questions.
Thank you, Mr. Roofer. Mr. Burkholder.
Good evening, everybody. In the middle school, first, we always recognize People's Champ, big board meeting. Carrie Chamberlain is this month's People's Champ. She does a heck of a lot more than just her everyday job, which is pretty amazing, considering she spends every single night at a softball diamond now. So, but no, she's really helped out this year, organizing a bunch of stuff from our BLT all the way to our 7th grade field trip we're gonna come out. Back on March 17th, right before we had the last board meeting, we sent 10 students to the Northwest Ohio, it's called Teen Book Festival, which is a really neat event. Ms. Christensen and Ms. Schmidt put it together, or went to it with them as well. The kids get to meet authors of books that they read, and they get to play games with them, interact with them, ask questions. So that was a really cool event. The 24th was our celebration day for the third quarter. We always celebrate each quarter. So that day we had our all A's breakfast, which we had 48 students achieve that for the quarter, and we did a pancake buffet, which took a little bit of work. So I gotta give thanks to Dr. Swineford, Mr. Carroll, Mrs. Conrad, Mrs. Bream, Mrs. Ricker, Mrs. Nagy, Sheriff Kathy, and Ella Samola for helping put that day on. It took all of us. So the kids really enjoyed themselves, and we ate lots of pancakes. We also celebrate the honor roll students that day, which we had 138, and we have our no zaps, no discipline list, had 144 kids on that. We finish off our day with our row character awards, and we had Sky Cinema, Wasion Motorcade, and Sky Zone all make donations for that. So thank you to those companies for looking out for our kids that way. April 31st, the 6th and 7th grade student council took a little mini field trip to the Fulton County Humane Society. We did a fundraiser raising stuff for that society, and our kids then got to go. Mrs. Wolf and Mrs. Klein took the kids, and they were telling me that they were really impressed with how the kids acted and behaved on the trip, but that the Humane Society themselves had complimented like how well the kids, acted on the trip, how they represent our school very well. So I was pleased to hear that. Like high school, we are into testing season, so we've already taken the ELA test last week. We have no testing this week, but we'll be doing math and science coming up, or science and then math coming up. And last, I'll also compliment the musical kids, amazing. I have 3 little boys and they can sit still long enough to pay attention, you're doing a good job. So that, and shout out to Ms. Setmeyer, Mrs. Bard, and all the art students, they put on a heck of an art show, also a very neat event to see, so good job, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Burkholder. Mrs. Brown.
Good evening, everyone. Lots of fun and exciting things happening at the elementary. First, I wanted to announce that our 5th graders represented Evergreen very well at the math counts competition at the Northwest Ohio Educational Service Center. Out of 12 teams and 48 students, our 4 students placed 4th overall out of all of the schools. So that was really exciting to see. Wanted to give a shout out to Mrs. Doble for making that possible for our students and getting them there even on a day off. I think that was the day that school was closed and she still managed to get everyone there. Congratulations to those students, Tyler Mans, Braxton Hudick, Kenna Dilly, and Lorelei Doble. Those were our students that represented. They did an excellent job. Also, our state testing is underway at the elementary. 3rd through 5th grade students, they'll be completed by the end of April. Every classroom I've gone into after testing, they're all giving me the thumbs up, saying how easy it was, or they did great. So I'm impressed and proud of them. Kindergarten screening is also complete. We had approximately 127 students screened for our kindergarten program, which is unbelievable. Our teachers did most of them within 3 days with the help of a few volunteers. The process went very, very well for our first time around. And we'll now be making appointments and making phone calls to parents so that we can place those students for next year. We also had vertical grade level meetings where we discussed the needs of our students in getting ready for next school year. So they were able to talk with their current teacher, with their incoming teachers, really good discussions that we had. And I think it's going to be really beneficial for preparing for our next school year. Also, we will be holding interviews soon for some positions we have available at the elementary, 2 5th grade positions and a phys ed teacher. So we'll be getting those taken care of here soon. We do have a committee of people that they've been very helpful and they're excited to be part of the process. So we'll get that started here this week. Also very excited to have Miss Ford going to be on our 4th grade team this next year. I think she's also very excited. And Mrs. Hernandez with the 5th grade move, she's also very excited. So, last, we have our mother-daughter event coming on April 30th. We were a little nervous because as of last Wednesday, we had about 40 people coming. And as of today, we have 320 people coming to attend. So our teachers got a little nervous. So as we were planning tonight, we thought, okay, we got to kick it in gear. So we're ready for it. We're excited. So it'll be interesting to see how it all works out. So anyone have any questions?
Thank you, Mrs. Brown. Mr. Henricks.
All right, first I would like to start off by recognizing our winter sports teams and athletes on the competitive season. Evergreen had the pleasure of hosting the NWAL bowling and wrestling tournaments, which both sports were very new to me, so this was a very unique experience. I would like to thank all of the workers, volunteers, and coaches that helped with either one of the tournaments, as we had many compliments from league officials on how smoothly they ran. We had a total of 152 athletes competing in the winter season, and we now have about 144 athletes out for the spring season. I'm looking forward to seeing how each sport continues to compete as we're about halfway through the spring season right now. The Evergreen Athletic Department this year is continuing the Fall, Winter, and Spring Sportsmanship Award. The Fall Award winners were Will Parquet and Ellie Johnson, and the Winter Award winners are Michael Labor and Lucy Cerna. And they will be added to the board in the cafeteria on display, along with the spring award winners at the end of the year. Here soon I'll begin to get quotes for the baseball and mainly the softball field on what it would cost to recertify the fields. The majority of this cost would be to bring the infield material in to replace what has been lost due to natural causes over the years. In order to save the district money, in the long run, I'm looking to develop a schedule, on our field instead of trying to do everything at once. We are looking forward to hosting the TJ Root High School Track Invitational on May 1st, starting at about 5 o'clock. This year, something a little bit new that Coach Lutheran is doing is he's actually hosting an open 4x100 relay to start the invite, kind of in memorial of TJ. So I think that's something that's really cool. He's hoping to have about 8 teams. I think he's up to 5 now. So I thought that was something really special that, he's bringing to the table. We will also be hosting the League Junior High Track Championships on May 13th, starting at 10 o'clock this year. That's all I have. You guys have any questions?
Thanks, Dylan. Mr. Simola?
Yeah, we continue to look at the potential fifth grade transition to the middle school. Mr. Burkholder and the scheduling committee continue to meet and develop a viable schedule for that potential move for the 24-25 school year. With that, classroom locations are being evaluated to address community concerns with a potential move. My plan is to share the information with the board prior to the May meeting, so we can look at then potentially deciding if that's the direction we want to go. So Mr. Burkholder told me we are close to coming to arriving at a schedule that he thinks will work. Any questions on the fifth grade piece? So getting some of that information that the board has requested to be able to present before we can look at making a decision. Food service, we continue to evaluate Tahoe as our food service provider. We are waiting on ODE to approve our RFP to explore other vendors for next year. Looking at the bigger picture, we do plan to return to serving students out of the middle school kitchen next year and have minimal equipment needs to make this a reality. One thing we knew we needed was an oven. There is an extra one at the elementary that could be brought down, and that would save a significant cost of being able to serve out of there. We need the oven, not so much for cooking, but keeping things warm before the students would come in to get their food. Staffing interviews are being scheduled for our open fifth grade positions and the elementary PE position. We also have technology and gifted positions posted. We're still looking at numbers for preschool, and that 127 that did the kindergarten screening is definitely up. That would potentially require another section. So as soon as we get those numbers finalized, we will look at our needs to get those into the budget before the May meeting, where the revised forecast is a part of that. There is high demand for teachers at all levels, so our goal is to fill these positions as soon as we can. Best candidates. Questions on staffing? Couple items of legislation just wanted to touch on briefly. There's a number of pieces that are out there in Columbus that directly affect schools. Senate Bill 1, which is looking to reform the Ohio Department of Education. It would impact ODE by creating a cabinet position with control over the schools. Still waiting to see what happens there. When you look at the motivation behind it, there are definitely pros and cons. It's hard to see clearly where a change in that with the ODE would go. House Bill 1 affects property and income taxes. That would change the law regarding how those are collected. That would directly affect us as we are funded through property and income tax. So not sure exactly where that is at, where that's going. House Bill 11 is the scholarship program. It would get rid of the Ed Choice scholarships, and it's known as the backpack bill. And that program would assign money to students who could then attend whatever school they choose throughout the state. That would be negative for public education. And then House Bill 117 would eliminate the third grade reading guarantee, and that would also change the learning standards to put phonics into the expectations. So just some things we're watching that would have an impact on the district. Any questions? Mr. Farrell, do you know any more about the tax one up there?
It restructures how counties are going to be collecting real estate taxes, and it has a lot to do with House Bill 920, which is the homestead rollback. So it's up in the air right now, but I've heard an update in a couple weeks.
Any questions?
Are there any board members with questions or concerns? No. Okay, I need a motion for the members of the Evergreen Local Board of Education, Superintendent, Treasurer, and invited guests to go into executive session for the following reasons. For the employment of a public employee.
Or,
Roll call.
Mr. Murray?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Beckler?
Yes.
Mrs. Keeper?
Yes, motion carries. There will be no action after executive session. So any, students who have paperwork for Mr. Rupert, that's in him, and then you guys take tonight short, buddy.